Well, this past weekend, I had a situation. All right, we're gonna try this again. I had a situation in my family that I had to address, and I want to share it with you. Well, there's a family member that's having some issues, and he's being pretty bullying to some of his family members, and I felt the need to try to talk to him. So of course, you know, he raised his voice at a couple of family members. He acted like he really don't care anymore, and boy, look like I'm in a bad area, y'all. So if it cuts off again, I'll just wait until I stop, but I'm gonna try to get this out. So he's being combative, raising his voice. He's getting a little on the violent side. He's talking violent. So you know, this guy, he's been into the military, and he has some, you know, some issues going on. He's on medication too, and we believe that it might be more than just medication that he's on. But whatever the case is, it's affecting him and his judgment on how to deal with his family. So I hear this. My mother was always go to the house to help out his sister and his father. And you know they're old, especially the father's pretty old. And we had some bad news, like he pushed both of them down at one point, separate times. And my mother go down there to do some work to help, you know, the sister and the father. And he's yelling at her a bit. So of course I get wind of this. So now I feel like I need to go talk to this man. My intent was not to go down there and be violent. My intent was to simply talk to him because he is my family member. He's my cousin and I love him. And I do not want to get into a physical confrontation with him because I love him. You know, I just, you know, if he was someone else, maybe the case could have been, you know, more confrontational, but for the most part, I go down and talk to him, and he knew I was coming because my mother had mentioned that she was going to tell me that he's raising his voice and acting like he's acting around the house. So I go down there. She told me not to go, but I went anyway because I needed to talk to the man. He was expecting me anyway because he was at the back door. The screen door was open. He was smoking a cigarette. He saw me coming in the driveway. So I stopped the car right at the edge of the driveway in the street. So I didn't go too far in. As soon as he saw me, he went inside. Now, he told my mother that he's got something for me. I said, okay. So I'm gonna go down here and see what this man got for me. So I go down, edge of the driveway. He goes back in real quick. Then he comes all the way out, walks up to the car. So I opened the car door, stuck my foot out, and I stayed seated in the car to be a non-threat to this man, just in case he had a weapon, which he wanted me to believe because he had his right hand behind his back the whole time. So I'm asking him, Pat, what's going on? So he goes, ain't nothing going on, Daryl. Then he says, you know what's going on. He said, that's why you came down here. So I stood up between, I had the car door open, so I'm at the driver's seat, and he's on the other side talking to me. So I'm letting him see this is not a threatening manner. Didn't close the door and approach him. So therefore, he has no reason to feel like he needs to pull a gun on me. So, you know, we're talking with the car door open the whole time. So, you know, I'm talking to him and I'm saying things like, you know, well, I just came down to see your side of the story. What's happened? You know, now mom's come home, she's all upset, and now I need to hear your side of the story on what's happening. So he's proceeded to say things about people are lying on him, making up stuff and all of this, meaning his father and I guess he means my mom's. So, you know, in my mind, he wouldn't take his hand from behind his back as he talking. So first thing I said to him, I said, well, yo, Pat, why you gotta come out here with a weapon? And he shrugged his shoulders and said, man, ain't nobody gonna jump on me. I said, bro, I didn't come down here to jump on you, man. I came down to talk to you, man, because you're my family. So he's like, he said, nah, you only came down here because your mom's told you I was being disrespectful. I said, well, okay, she told me that, but I came to hear your side of the story. You know, let me hear what you got to say about it. He said, I wasn't being disrespectful. I said, well, you know what, right now I think you are, because you got something behind your back. You know what I'm saying? So he still wouldn't bring his hand forward to let me see. So I proceeded to try to talk calm as I'm talking to you guys right now. This is the tone of voice that I had talking to him. Trying to talk reason to him. You know, trying to keep it escalated down, not up. So, you know, I proceeded to tell him and remind him about how much we're family and how much I love him. You know, so, you know, I for the most part, didn't want to come from behind the door because I didn't want him to think that it was a threatening move by me. And if he did have a gun, that more than likely a scared person is going to squeeze the trigger. And I noticed his hands were shaking a bit while he was talking to me, pointing around, talking about the grass. He cut the grass, he did this, that, and the other. But his hands was trembling like that. So now that tell me, you see, now I'm one of them people who gotta analyze things, you know what I'm saying, before I actually make a move on it. And I felt like, you know, the situation it seems to be possibly dangerous because he has his hand behind his back talking to me. And I asked him to bring his hand forward and he wouldn't do it. So I proceeded to continuously say how much I loved him. Talk to him some more and let him remind him of the connect that we are. Meaning, I'm his cousin, his aunt, you know, his mother is my aunt, his father's my uncle, his brothers are my cousins. And we all grew up together. So I'm going through all of this. So I asked him, I said, Pat, and he's actually feeling like nobody cares for him, nobody cares about him, nobody come down to see him because he lives down.
Construction was reported on I-77 with an 8-minute delay.
I'm like, well, you know, I come by time, you know, when I come home and I swing by. He said, you ain't been by here for I don't know how long, Daryl. I said, well, you know what? I'm busy, man. I'm working. But when I do come by, because he gave me some shirts that he had dry cleaned. And when he gave me the shirt, I didn't ask for him. He just said, you know, he lost some weight and he wanted to give it to somebody that it would fit, and it fit me, you know. So we hugged each other down in, you know, down in his room. And I appreciated it, you know. So he pretty much, at that moment, he gave me a hug and everything, you know what I'm saying? So the day of the confrontation or me trying to talk to him, I said, Pat, you know, he's already a little agitated, nervous, and his eyes all bugged out, you know, so I'm thinking he might be on something, you know, other than the medicine that was prescribed for him by the VA. So I'm like, you know, Pat, I said, you know, give me a hug, man. You know, just give me a hug. He said, no, I don't. He said, I don't hug men. I said, bro, to me, you don't hug men. I said, I hug my son all the time, man. What you talking about? He's a man. He's 19 years old. He's a man. And he said, yeah, well, that's your son, though, man. I don't hug no man. I said, that's not true. You lying right now because when you gave me the shirts the other time, bro, you gave me a hug then. Why can't you give me one now? He had nothing to say about that. All he really came up with, man, I ain't gonna let nobody jump on me. He kept saying that. Now, this is how I analyzed everything. Even if he would have gave me a hug, at least I would have been able to check and see if he had a weapon. That I would have done. I wouldn't have jumped on him though. I would have found out what it was he had behind his back. That's what I was attempting to do if he would have reached both arms out. But he didn't do it. He kept his right hand back behind him. It's okay. I said, well, you good enough, you know, he gave me a hug and you gave me the shirts, man. Why can't you give me a hug now? So he's going through all these lame excuses, you know. So at that point now, I'm saying to myself, I have opportunity, so I closed the door because he didn't act like he was too agitated, because he was more like I was trying to get him in a soft state of mind, like, you know, he was kind of feeling sorry a little bit for himself, and he's talking about people talking about him and going through that, so he looked like he was getting a little soft, so I closed the door. So I closed the door and I leaned back on the car and I crossed my hands, you know, and I was talking to him. And man hands crossed is not a threat. So that's what I'm thinking. So, you know, we proceeded to talk some more. So when he turned like that and pointed around the yard about what he did, I saw the handle of something behind his back. All right. Not sure. I couldn't tell the style or anything. It was a flat handle though, you know, and it was curved. So, all right. And it was dark charcoal gray with a little round emblem on it. So I said, okay, now I'm gonna assume that's a gun. Cause I didn't see it really. I couldn't see it, you know, because he wouldn't turn. So now when he turned and pointed at the grass, and I saw that, for a minute I thought it was just some type of a butcher knife or some fancy knife he got. And I said, well, let me, you know, and all this is going through my head as we talking. And I was close enough, literally, to spring on him when he turned the point. Now I'm thinking, if I would have done that and miscalculated, and dude did have a gun on him, I probably would be one shot person, if not dead by now, you know? Because with his fear going on and his paranoia, he more than likely would have relied on the gun, if it was a gun. You know, this is what I was just like not too sure of. So I wasn't sure, you know, I didn't want to make a wrong move at that moment. So I kind of tried to keep it on calm. So then I couldn't make the move because I wasn't sure. You know, it got to a point where I said, well, you know, Pat, if you feel like that, then man, you might as well just go on in the house. You know what I'm saying? He said, no, you leave. You leave off my property. Well, it's not his property. It's his father's property. So he asked me to leave. I said, that's how you want it? He said, no, that's how you want it. I said, okay. So now me going back and forth with him like that, yeah, I'm feeling agitated, feel like I want to say some more stuff, say like I want to really do something, but I'm not sure what he got behind his back. I said, okay. I said, you want to leave it like this, right? So now we're no longer family. If I leave out of here under these conditions, man, we ain't family no more. He says, whatever you want it to be, Darryl. I said, okay. So I got in the car, closed the door, and I stopped, and I said, you sure? He said, shrugged his shoulder and went like that. Now that's when he took his hand from behind his back after I got back in the car. He fixed his shirt, he pulled his shirt down. So I noticed there was a bulge when he turned, so I backed out, I paused, and he pulled his shirt down behind him, and I saw something sticking out back there. So I said, okay. I went on home, you know, I called up some family members and told them what was going on. Now, of course, the police had to get involved because now he's a threat, you know, and no telling what he might do to the people that are living in the house. So me, you know, I said, okay, you know, it's not like he actually pulled a gun and pointed at me or whatever. But the point still is that he had the gun. I believe it was a gun on him. So, you know, one thing led to another. So the you know, to cut it all short, dude ain't in the house no more. You know, they got him out. They got him out. You know who they are. Got him out. You know what I'm saying? And he's not to be even in the vicinity. Yeah, even family members can be a danger to their own family when certain things are going on in their lives. Now, yeah, man need help, but you know, the only way we can get help to these family members that are in trouble, having some type of, you know, depending on other things type trouble, and it's messing up their head, is that they have to first kind of want it, because we could try to give them all the help possible, and still, you know, all they depend on, all they really care about is, you know, their little get high, whatever that get high may be. You know, some are more dangerous than others, you know. So me right now, as far as dealing with that particular person in my family, you know, I pretty much have a no-nonsense policy with him, you know. And if by any chance he comes around there, which he's not supposed to, if he does, then I have all right to do whatever I have to do to stop him from being even on the property. And I plan on doing something because he's a threat to the family. So, you know, but me sharing this with you guys is just saying that there's a lot of ways that we can deal with a situation, especially in a family-oriented type of situation. You know, that could have been escalated into have been a real bad scene if I was irrational and didn't want to think things out and just worked on my emotions. If I would have reacted on my emotions, I probably wouldn't be sitting here talking to y'all right now. I'd either be in jail or I would be dead, you know, or in the hospital shot up or whatever the case is. So I really think that a lot of us need to, and I'm talking to me and my people, you know, I'm talking about me, but to my people. And we have to learn how to be more mindful, think about things before we react to them. You know, yeah, he raised his voice at my mom's, you know. I felt some type of way about that. Now I really wanted to do something, you know, but I wasn't gonna get myself killed over it, you know, because he's unstable. He's a very unstable individual. So my main thing is to try to be rational when I'm dealing with him, and that's what we have to do. We have to notice the situation that the person is going through, recognize what it is, and then try to accordingly deal with it. You know, that doesn't mean just because they act out or say some things that you need to jump on them. They're your family members and you love them. You want to give them opportunities. You want to keep yourself as safe as possible in the process. You got to keep yourself safe as possible, because if they're unstable, I mean, anything could have happened. He could have just walked up if he had a pistol and just start shooting. That would have been the end of everything. You know what I mean? But I knew that he was still hanging on to some you know, some sanity in his head. You know, he wasn't totally way off. But at any rate, you know, I shared this with you because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people that are dealing with family members that are just off the chain and out of control and don't know what to do with them. And that's how we have a lot of family violence that turn fatal, you know. So I felt that I dealt with that in the best way possible. I handed it over to the necessary authorities, not me per se, but it was handed over to the authorities. And if I did, I wouldn't mind saying, yeah, I told the police, but I really didn't. You know, another family member did so. But, you know, it was dealt with. You know, unfortunately, he stayed in the house another 2 days, and they finally caught up to him because he didn't want to let nobody in. But, you know what? It is what it is. He's out of the house, and now it's a matter of if he's spotted around the premises, then, of course, other measures will be taken, you know, have to be done, because, you know, there's now a statute or a law or whatever, you know, passed down that he is not to be around in that area. So you know, I'm sharing this. It is a personal situation, you know, but I do want to share it with you because I'm pretty sure there's other people, you know, out here in YouTube that are dealing with something similar or worse, you know. And my message to you would be, keep a calm head and think about it. Don't react just on your emotions, because that's what get a lot of people killed, shot, or locked up, you know. So you really want to think about it. You want to weigh out the situation. Sometimes you don't have time to think about it. I got it, you know, because if he would have started shooting, the only thing I could do is either rush him, because once, you know, I mean, that could be a fatal move, or what, run around the car. You know what I'm saying? I probably could have thought of that too. you know, because I had the door open anyway. So if I would have got, I had the key in the ignition. So it could have, a whole bunch of things could have happened at that moment. But this is what we deal with, you know, in our family and then out here in society. So we, you know, I've always been one who tried to be rational about my movements, about the way I react to things. If my back is against the wall, then, you know, sometimes you don't have a recourse but to react, you know, and that reaction could either save your life or end your life. So this is the thing that we have to, you know, think about and always be mindful of who we're dealing with and how bad, you know, they are off or unstable. You know, we have to weigh all that in. Now, we're not doctors, you know, we're not any special authority. We just family members that have problems. So that's my rant today, you know, and you know, it was, you know, I mean, if I think about it, was I afraid at the moment? Only thing I was really thinking about, if he pulled from behind his back a gun. And, you know, and of course it's just a second, you know, or a couple of seconds to do this, you know, and that's why I came from behind the door. I closed the door because I'm saying to myself, only real opportunity, if I had a fraction of a chance, if he did, was to catch him coming like this and knowing where his mind was at the moment and try to rush him at that point. That was about the only thing I would have had left, you know, or either just try to book around the car and run around the car. If he's gonna shoot at me around the car, hopefully he won't hit me, you know what I'm saying? So those are the two things I kept thinking about, but my heart wasn't like, you know, scared. You know how when you're scared, your heart, you know, is rushing and, you know, racing, and, you know, it wasn't fear. I think it was just, I don't know, getting in the mood or getting ready for whatever could possibly happen that was going through my mind. That's really what it was for me. It was a hairy situation after I thought about it, you know, after we all, the family, talked about it. But, you know, it didn't solve too much for him. But as far as the father's concerned, it's semi-solved now because the trouble or the threat is no longer there in the home. You know, how long it will stay that way, hopefully it doesn't get to a point where he tries to violate and come by unannounced, and, you know, things could occur then. Badly for him, I would say. But that's what it is. That's what was on my mind. I pointed to my daggone heart first. I was thinking it. But anyway, what was on my heart and what was on my mind, you know? And of course I share these things at times. I don't mind, because I know other people are going through some things. And if we are, you know, the type of people who hate to share, I mean, maybe I could have shed some information or an idea that might possibly be helpful to you. And that's the reason why I shared my situation, you know. But that's what it is. God had me protected the whole time. I think that's another reason why I wasn't really scared. But had me protected, and I'm here. You know what I'm saying? I'm still doing what I do. And I think because just my mission is not over yet. And if it was, maybe I wouldn't be here right now. I'll be dead. You know, so let's just thank God that it didn't turn out that way. You know. So anyway, y'all, that was what was on my mind and my heart, and I wanted to kind of let that out. And I'm gonna go ahead and end this thing. I'm stuck in traffic, y'all. You know, this is kind of my place to kind of vent. So I vent to you, for whoever's willing to listen, you know. And not really talking too much about truckers business, but it will pick up because there's another person's going to be joining me eventually in this trucking business. So once that does kick off, then you will hear from two of us, you know, which will be pretty cool. And you know, the journey to transitioning into being a truck driver, you know, but that never stops us having our personal life go on. You know, even though outside of this truck we have a life and we have situations just like everybody else do. You know, and this is kind of mine. I share it with you. You know, I try to be, you know, and another thing I do notice about, I may have mentioned it before, but I'm gonna say it again. A lot of these truck drivers, they do start some of these YouTube things and tutorials or whatever they are, and they get on there and they talk daily, you know, and a lot of them talk with a lot of sense and respectful, and a lot of them don't, you know. And I ain't, you know, I'm gonna just tell you how I feel about it. You know, I've heard a couple of people, a couple of truckers, male and female, really talk just like they're living on the streets, you know. And I've heard a lot of people talk like they're professionals and they got, you know, some sense about themselves. And I think that, to me, is what I gravitate to. Try to be sensible. I don't want to get up here and talk ignorant and stupid. I try not to. But, you know, everybody have their moments, right? Because I'm not perfect. But, yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there, just in case there are any other truck drivers listening to my rants. And I would like to say that if you are a truck driver or wanting to be a truck driver, you do want to try to keep a lot of sense about yourself, and don't try to come across as an ignorant buffoon. You really want to try to come across as an intelligent person. Right, so that's it. If you guys are about to get into trucking and get into doing videos and talking to the people, give them some food, man. Don't just give them foolishness. Give them something they can think about, something they can possibly use, you know. And then when you're trying to relay that info or that information, yeah, they keep cutting off, y'all, so I think I'm gonna end it now. All right, y'all, peace and love to each and every one of you, and always try to be mindful about your movements and your decisions. You know, we're all perfect, we will make mistakes, but let's not make a mistake that'll be fatal. Yeah. All right, y'all, I guess I will talk to y'all later. Peace and love to each and every one of you. Yeah.